Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. Communication is key in everything we do in our lives. We're social creatures. We communicate, whether it's with a partner, spouse, whether it's with friends, family members, at work. Effective communication makes the perception of you so much better. And how do you improve that? Well, there's people for that. He's got a company that helps people with their communication and their presentations all the time, whether it's a job interview, whether it's a Zoom video, whether you're leading a team and you need to address that team. Mike Fruciano is here with Effective Presentations. Welcome, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Steve. Doing well.
Yeah, great to have you back here. We've talked about many different things along the way with you and also your team. Today, very different look at things because you've developed a program in your company for younger people to, I guess, get off on the right foot when it comes to presentation. Tell us about that.
Yes. We believe that everything is based around communication. And no matter what skill, no matter what business you're in, we believe that communication is the number one skill for any business, any industry. So really after COVID, we started thinking, what can we do to help the youth, the younger generations? Because Steve, you and I know every time we have a chat with sometimes millennials and kids that are graduating from high school, they've been just stuck on their phones. Everything is texting. And it seems like communication has really just almost taken a back seat. And so we developed a new workshop that it hasn't been launched yet, but we're right ready to get it out there. And it's called our Career Path. And we have Gianna that she just graduated this year, and she's going to be teaching that workshop.
Wow. So Gianna is your daughter, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Wow. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great.
I think this is a fantastic idea because I see it. I have a son that just graduated. My daughter is just started 11th grade, and I'm watching it in real time where, I don't want to sound old here, but younger generation is sort of out of touch in terms of true communication. Yes, texting, typing, that is a form of communication, but really engaging with somebody, I see it in my kids and their friends, how when they're faced with, even walking into a store and taking something back, returning something, it's like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. It's like, just go in there and tell them it's okay. Not a big deal. But if you don't practice communicating, then you kind of lose it, and then you lose your confidence. What are you feeling right now, Gianna, with what's going on in your world and your friends and everything?
I totally agree. One of the main reasons we created this course is because I kept seeing a constant issue of my friends coming up to me. I always had multiple jobs in high school, and they'd always come up to me saying, "How do you do it? I've applied to 50 places, but none of them have contacted me back." So I've been working with my dad and the other trainers here to perfectly curate a course just for our generation.
Nice. So what are some of the things involved in that course?
So this course, it has a very beginning class for high school graduates, people still in high school, people in college even. So what is in the course is a resume building section. We're going to help you perfectly make a resume that will hit all of the requirements. There's two different types of resumes that we want kids to have. There's an in-person resume, and then there's an online resume. One that you're going to hand in person, the one that looks aesthetically pleasing. And then the online one is going to have keywords, because online systems, they scan your resume and they look for certain words, and then that will put your resume actually in front of a real person. So we're going to make sure they have that. Second part is going to be networking.
Alert from updates available.
We are going to be having the kids make a LinkedIn account as well as an Indeed, because that is really the future of professional networking. It's online. We're going to teach them how to become experts in that. So we're raising the next generation to be proficient in all of those aspects. Then the next part is actual interview skills. We're going to teach them, once you have your resume, once you've gotten networked on LinkedIn, you get your interview. How do you do in that? We're going to teach them all of the essentials and how to score that job.
This is so important. I tell you, uh, even if even if we weren't connected to all this media and social and everything, it's also building confidence. I started doing this, my career, when I was 17. Not even kidding. Got my first paycheck, got on the radio, hit it big, was at a big station 6 months after that, stayed there for decades. I lacked confidence. Even though I scored the job and everything, I lacked confidence. I'm not going to lie. It was every next step was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? Oh, what if I fail? What if? If I had something like this in the beginning, the trajectory would have been so much faster. It would have been totally different. So there's definitely a place in this. Mike, what are you seeing here looking at the landscape of younger people nowadays? What's your overall vibe?
Oh man, I'm really excited to be able to put this workshop together because it really takes me back. Just the same thing you just said, Steve. You lack confidence. I think everybody did. And I remember starting my career and looking back now thinking, whoa, if I was to go through really a communication presentation workshop, it would have given me so much more confidence to start my career. It would have been even on a just even on the sharper director trajectory. It was,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best things we can do, especially for our kids, to be able to really set them up for success.
Yeah, and Gianna, spot on there with the resume situation. You could spend 120 hours working on that great looking resume. When it's scanned, it doesn't care what it looks like. It's just looking for text. You could just send a text, no pictures, nothing, nothing. It's looking for those keywords. But if you don't know how to lay that out and how to put those keywords in there, and even if you Google and try and figure it out, it's not personalized. I got to believe that when you work with somebody, it's more of a one-on-one situation, right?
Totally, yeah. So the class setting, it's going to be a few kids, but we are going to specifically help them on each of their stuff. The online scan, it's called ATS. I've done a bunch of research into that, showing what works and what doesn't work. We're also going to have a AI integration into our class, because AI is really the future of our generation. That's our differentiator for our generation. What do we bring to the table, especially when kids don't have that much experience at the age we're at? We can bring the whole new perspective of AI and online integration for these companies.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people, no matter what age, are probably thinking, oh, wait a minute. I'll just tell AI to generate my resume. I'll be good to go and just plug in what I need. But it doesn't work that way. Like you need somebody to professionally look over your shoulder when you get a couple of good words with AI and maybe a layout, but there really needs to be that understanding. What are some of the other things when it comes to verbal communication that this course is going to offer younger people?
Verbal communication is huge. That is part of a lot of job interviews offer a first call. And then once you get past that call, you'll be offered the interview. So we're going to be teaching them how to look amazing on both of those. Big things that I'd say are specific questions that we're going to give them tips on how to answer, because confidence is a huge thing. You can go in there not knowing much, but if your confidence shows through, that will really speak volumes to your interviewer. So we're going to give them the tools to be able to ace that interview. And yeah.
Mike, she's good. She has her finger on all of this. Your company now works with younger. It doesn't matter what age in terms of their presentation. Why don't we go back? We first time we got together, we talked about effective presentations and some of the things that your company offers as a whole. Can we go over those again?
Sure. Really, everything we do is based around communication. So we do 1 and 2 day presentation skills workshops all over the country. We have trainers that they spend the week traveling. We go actually to organizations. We have workshops coming up. We have one in Dallas, Houston, Orange County, Orlando. We have one coming up in Seattle, Chicago, all of our hub cities. And these classes are limited to only 10 people. So they're really small classes, and we get to Once you show up, you're immersed in communication for 2 full days. And it's a powerful experience because everybody, they deliver probably 8 to 10 recorded presentations. You get to watch them, and you really get to watch yourself progress and get better over the 2 days. So it's a life-changing experience for sure.
Wow. It seems like it's the word's intense. You got 2 days, but it sounds like there's a radical difference from day one until the end of day two with the program.
Radical difference. We do a baseline presentation when they first get there. Pretty quick, 15, 20 minutes in, everybody's a little bit nervous. And so we set that presentation up and then be able to compare that presentation the first day versus what happens the second. It's night and day difference for everybody. Everybody's looking around going, man, I don't even recognize you guys. It's amazing.
And there we go. Confidence. When you take a look at what you're actually capable of with the right kind of training, that's a game changer in itself. Now, you do online training, group and maybe one-on-one, in addition to these seminars that are in different cities?
Yes. Everything we do in person, we do as well online. So our online's a little bit different. They're smaller groups. We limit those classes to around 5 people. And we do usually 2-hour sessions. So we don't do full days because, being in front of your camera, being in front of the computer sitting, it's just draining. When you're there in person, it goes a little faster. But when you're online, so we limit those, and then we do 1 session per week, and then they get to practice everything they learn within that session for that whole week. And then they come back and they talk about it. And some of the other workshops we do are even messaging and structure. How to craft that perfect message. How do you start a presentation? How do you close? And everything in between.
I think that's key. Everything here is fantastic. Now, Gianna, for the program that you're going to be heading up, how does that actually work?
So my program is going to be a 3-hour class. This will look probably on the weekends because that is when kids are off of school, they have time to come in. And we'll start in the morning and end in the afternoon. And so we'll offer breaks in between each session so the kids stay engaged. But yeah, 3 hours, get a touch on each section, and then we will offer as well one-on-one coaching afterwards. Let's say you have some more deeper questions, or after an interview, you wanted to meet with me, see what you think went right, what we could improve on. So those are a bunch of different options we offer.
Will eventually they be virtual?
Yeah, virtual is definitely an option. This is a pretty easy class that we could do online. Just giving them the tools and the resources to be able to make that resume, make those interview skills perfect.
Mike, you've been doing this for a long time, helping people with their presentations and their communication. What do you think is, if you had to pick 3 things, the most important things in terms of communication or presenting, even just could be a job interview, whatever it is, representing yourself. What do you think those 3 things would be?
I think definitely when you're in person and you're virtual, the skills are really very, very similar, but we just change them up a little bit. But one of the big 3, I would say, is your eye contact. And a lot of people, the eye contact isn't really there for most people, because most people think, hey, I have great eye contact. And we're scanning, or especially in an interview, you're looking at somebody and we're looking down, looking up, my eyes are shifty. And when you hold eye contact, at least 3 seconds, I'm happy with 2, but 3 to 5 seconds in a group, that right there just shows people that you are confident in yourself and your message because you're delivering the message to them. And I'll give you an example right now, Steve. Right now, we're having this interview, but a lot of people are on virtual meetings constantly with Teams and Zoom and Google Meets. And if I was to I have 2 screens, and let me do this really quick. So now I'm able to open this up, and I'm looking at you over here, Steve. I'm looking at Gianna down here. But when you're looking at me, you're thinking, wait a minute, you're not looking at me because my eye contact's not looking at the camera. So what I do on a virtual call like this, I would take my screen and I bring it all the way up. So now I have these little tiny icons right under the camera. So when I'm looking at you, you think, wow, you're looking at me. And I would say at least 80% of the time, looking right there into the camera. And then you can look around. But when you do that, you look more engaged,
Sure.
you look more confident and competent. So that would be one of the skills. And the other would be really your voice. And we spoke about that last time. Having a bigger, deeper, resonant voice and using good pauses are the key. Having melody to your voice, having it pleasing so somebody would want to listen to you and your message.
The pause is so important, and people are afraid of them. I don't know why. I think the perception is that if you pause, it's going to sound like it's so long. Oh my gosh, you could drive a truck through there. That whole gap right there. But in reality, it's not. It's a benefit to the person that you're speaking with, because it gives them a moment to process what you're talking about. Do you find that a lot of people are afraid of the pause?
I would think the vast majority of people, all of our workshops, people, they hate the pause. They hate the pause one way, when they're the one speaking. Now, when the roles are turned and they're an audience member, they're like, oh, I love the pause, because it gives us time to think, what did she just say? What did he just say? And you give yourself that split second to take that information in and visualize, what did they just mean by that? How is it going to benefit me? We have all these things going through our minds. And when you pause, you have the authority to take up their time. Never in an arrogant way, but you have the authority. When people rush it, all of a sudden your credibility gets diminished and your message gets lost.
It's a great point, because we're in control. With the pause, it's almost like you're leading somebody on. You're walking them through the conversation with the pause. But if you're just rumbling really fast because you're really nervous and you just want to get everything out and you're worried, people can't process, and you're really not in control of them. You're really not in control of your audience there.
Yeah.
When you're doing presentations or the work helping people through their presentations, are you finding that more and more people want help when it comes to Zoom and online presentations now more than ever?
Yes, I know certainly after COVID, nobody thought we would be in a position where for a lot of companies, the vast majority of their presentations are now on Zoom, Teams, any virtual platform. So they definitely need that. And a lot of I would say the vast majority of people I watch on camera, they're on their laptops, and they're not set up right. Their laptop, they're looking down and it's shooting up, and I'm looking at them going, wow, that's a really nice, good looking ceiling you have there. Nice ceiling tiles. Instead of having the camera eye level and be able to communicate that way, your message comes across a little bit more clear and you look more engaged.
Isn't it amazing how when COVID hit, Zoom came in, that thing called Skype just disappeared? Gianna, have you ever heard of Skype?
I have, yes. When I was really little, when people still rang the phones like this, you turn to each number.
Wow. Yeah, Skype just kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened. Zoom just kind of took everybody by control, and then they just rolled out Zoom Workplace, so they made it just even a little bit better. But it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and neither is communication. Isn't it amazing that we're doing the same thing today that people did centuries ago, using words to express ourselves? We're just doing it in a different way, but it comes back to the same thing: words, talking, communicating. I think we kind of forget that. It's been maybe some new words have come into play there along the way, but we're doing the same thing. It all comes back to communication. And I think a lot of people are afraid to communicate.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we've changed it quite a bit, because now we use PowerPoint for the last 20 some odd years. And back in the day, they didn't use PowerPoint. I mean, the only way they communicated back in the day was really stories that get passed from generation to generation to generation. And using stories and parables, those type of things, research shows that using a story has 22 times the way that people actually remember the content. 22 times more than just stepping up and delivering a whole bunch of words, showing up and throwing up. Blech. Here you go. Here's all my data. It's just ineffective. But if you know how to tie it into a metaphor, a story, something that they can actually see in their mind's eye, then it's memorable. I tell folks all the time, Steve, people don't remember what you say. They remember what they see when you said it. So split second, what did they see? How is it going to benefit them? And if they can see something, then it makes your content sticky. It makes it more memorable.
It's a really great point about the stories, because when you think about it, there's a story in everything. Went to get coffee today. There's a story there. If you really look at it, there's a story with everything we do, even if it's data that you're presenting to somebody. There was a story that got you that information. So yeah, but storytelling, I believe, is an art. At some point, you need to know what to edit, what to leave in, what to take out, how to get to the point, and then to your point, how it benefits the other person. What's in it for me? Unfortunately, I think people, that's what they're looking for. How is it going to benefit me? Yeah,
everybody. It's so interesting because, I mean, everybody's selfish with their time. Everybody is. Nobody wants to show up in a meeting and have, wow, that was fun. That was a whole half an hour, waste of my time. I mean, nobody's thinking, this is awesome. So we show up at meetings thinking, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And that's the power of a good, well-told story. And what are the components of that story that really makes it stand out? A lot of people tell stories and we start at the very beginning and we go all the way through that story to the very end. And that story took way too long, and it really didn't have the main points that you should put into a story. The structure wasn't there. And it's like, you just told a long story, but that was a 6-minute waste of my time. So what is the structure and some of the things you can really craft that message and make it more efficient?
It's so funny. You bring back memories, because now I'm thinking of all the meetings I've been in, and as everybody exits the meeting, the presenter can't hear it, but everybody's like, oh, wow, okay, I'm glad that's over. Everybody's walking out. It's horrible.
Put that an email.
Yes. I don't want to be that person. I never want to be that person. After the presentation, the people have left and they're all complaining about, oh, I'm glad that's over. Like, did we really need to have a meeting? Seriously, that's 28 minutes or whatever it was. Gianna, this is all the stuff that eventually, once the people that are in your workshop, once they master what you have to offer, can take the steps to even forward once they start jumping into careers and jobs and things like that. It's not rolled out what you're doing yet. Did I hear that right?
We're almost there, but we have not actually picked dates. We're right at the very, very end of putting everything together, working on all the exercises. I mean, it's going to be very interactive the whole time. We're going to be having them pair up with other teams and other groups within that and present. And then John is going to be giving feedback with other people here as well.
Wow. It's exciting and so needed. And especially because of, I really have to say, because of COVID. That was kind of the big rock in the pond where the waves went out, where younger people aren't communicating. They didn't have to during COVID. So it became, oh, wow, I can just, I can type. I can kind of lean back on it and don't have to engage. But that's not necessarily a good thing. It's not, in terms of moving your life forward. So how does somebody find out more about this?
They can call us. Our number is 303-278-1265. Or you can pull us up online at effectivepresentations.com. So effectivepresentations.com. And you can just fill out, contact us and say you're interested in the career path, and we'll get you on a list, and we'll reach out to you and let you know when our first workshop is going to start here pretty quick.
Beautiful.
And we will be doing online versions as well.
It just shows within your company, Mike, how you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on and moving life forward with better communication. I don't see anybody else doing what you're doing here for younger people, and so critical. It's so important. I see, because I have kids. I see it all the time. Yeah, my daughter doesn't walk into a store unless I come in with her, typically, even just to order something, just go in and order. I'll wait outside. It's like, no, can you come in with me? Like, because she's on her device, not used to it. But yeah, thank you for sharing everything today, Mike and Gianna. Appreciate you being here. The website, do I have it right? Effectivecommunications.com? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, effectivepresentations.com.
Gotcha. And it's all about communication too. Appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you,
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.